everyone, welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Lisa Manzo, registered holistic nutritionist and registered personal trainer. Today I wanted to talk about how to naturally boost your immune system with food and exercise. Before I do that, I really wanted to talk a little bit about what is our immune system, what are some conditions that could trigger an immune response, as well as what are some factors that could depress the immune system. So what is our immune system? Our immune system is a wonderful collaboration of cells and proteins that work together to provide defense against infection. So these cells and proteins do not form a single organ, say like the heart or the liver. Instead, the immune system is dispersed throughout the entire body to provide rapid response to infection. What I find fascinating is the immune system keeps a record of every germ it has ever defeated, so that it could recognize, attack, and destroy it if it ever re-enters into the body. So in a nutshell, the major function of the immune system is to protect the body from outside invaders. So invaders such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, and even toxins. It essentially preserves the integrity of the body. Now, it does this by the recognition of self and response to non-self. So we possess two types of immunity: innate immunity and adaptive or acquired immunity. So with innate immunity is the first line of defense from pathogens that try to enter our body. This is achieved through protective barriers. Now, protective barriers such as the skin, which keeps out the majority of pathogens, mucus, which traps pathogens, stomach acid, which destroys pathogens, and then enzymes, which are found in sweat and tears that help to create antibacterial compounds, and last, immune cells that help to fight and attack foreign cells coming into the body. Number two is adaptive or acquired immunity. This is more of a system that learns to recognize a pathogen. It is really regulated by cells and organs such as the spleen, the thymus gland, bone marrow, and lymph nodes. So when a foreign substance enters into the body, what happens is these cells and organs create antibodies that then lead to a multiplication of immune cells, as well as different types of white blood cells that are basically specific to that harmful substance, and then attack and destroy it. That's essentially how it works. Now, what's amazing is our immune system then adapts to remembering this foreign substance, so that if it ever re-enters into the body, again, the antibodies and cells are ready and more effective and quick to attack and destroy it. So in terms of conditions that could trigger an immune response, we're looking at prolonged chronic inflammation. We're looking at autoimmune disorders such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes. This is essentially where immune cells attack healthy cells. They basically attack and destroy healthy cells. And last would be immunodeficiency disorders like leukemia. So when we're looking at other factors that can depress an immune system that are out of our hands, we're looking at older age. Immune-related organs such as the spleen and the bone marrow, they produce less immune cells with age as we age, and that's what's really needed to fight off infection. We're also looking at environmental toxins, which can impair or suppress the normal activity of immune cells. We're also looking at excess weight. Obesity has been associated with low-grade chronic inflammation. And although research is very early, obesity has been identified as an independent risk factor in the influenza virus. And this is likely due to the impaired function of T cells, which is a type of white blood cell. We're also looking at chronic diseases. We just discussed that, autoimmune disorders as well as immunodeficiency disorders, which the cells attack the healthy cells. And then we're talking about chronic mental stress. So stress releases hormones like cortisol, and that suppresses inflammation. Okay, so it also suppresses the action of white blood cells. Now, it is important to note that a very small amount of inflammation initially is needed to activate immune cells, but we're talking about prolonged chronic high amounts of inflammation here. And then the last is a lack of sleep and rest. So sleep is a time for restoration for the body, during which this time a type of cytokine is released to help fight off infection. Now, if you're sleeping very little, that really will lower the amount of these cytokines being released, as well as other immune cells. So my question, many people's question is, does an immune boosting diet exist? I'm here to tell you absolutely it does. So a diet high in whole foods, so vegetables, nuts, legumes, fruits, we're talking about fish and seafood, as well as lean, high quality meats, really can help reduce your risk of diseases and help fight off infection. This type of diet really helps to keep the immune system balanced and really ready to fight when needed. So examples of nutrients that have been identified as critical for the growth and even the proper function of immune cells include vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, selenium, iron, and protein, including the amino acid glutamine. Now, these can be found in both plant as well as animal foods. So when we're looking at vitamin C, for example, foods that are rich in vitamin C really help improve the production of white blood cells. Now, when we think about vitamin C, we immediately think of citrus fruits such as oranges and tangerines, grapefruits, even lemons and limes. And while these all do contain vitamin C, there are some vegetables that contain 3 times the amount of vitamin C than this. For example, red bell peppers. So it's really important to note that our bodies do not produce or store vitamin C. So vitamin C intake daily is really, really highly recommended. And moving to vitamin D, many of you know that there's very few foods that contain vitamin D, if even a little bit of vitamin D. So a supplementation is absolutely highly recommended, in particular during the cold and flu season, which we are in right now. Zinc. Zinc is a mineral that helps support a strong immune system. Zinc can be found in very high amounts in oyster. It can also be found in lower amounts in lamb, beef, poultry, eggs, tofu, oatmeal, some spinach, cashews, mushrooms, and chickpeas, and even cacao powder. When we're looking at selenium, it can be found in very high amounts in Brazil nuts, as well as in lower amounts in fish, beef, turkey, chicken, eggs, brown rice, as well as sunflower seeds and mushrooms and spinach and oatmeal, in lentils, as well as cashews and bananas. Moving on to iron, it could be found in very high amounts in liver, as well as in lentils and beans. We're also going to see iron in dark leafy green vegetables like spinach and some tofu, dark chocolate, anything higher than 72%, as well as oysters and sesame seeds, cashews and almonds. We're seeing a lot of foods in all these different categories as well, which is great. And then quinoa and even some dried fruits like raisins, apricots, and even figs. So these are some of the foods that we can start incorporating into our daily meals to help get the nutrients and minerals needed to help boost and keep the proper function of our immune cells working. I've also provided a list of other stuff that you could start incorporating, like green tea and garlic and ginger and antioxidants, and why. I provided that all on my lifestyle site at PurEnergyStudios.ca. I'll also link that below. But I think it's very important to note that the gut is a major site of immune activity. It's incredibly important to nourish the digestive system with prebiotic as well as probiotic, and help with the production of antimicrobial proteins. Many of you heard that the gut is the second brain, and this is where it's coming from. So lots of probiotic foods such as kefir and yogurt with active cultures, as well as fermented vegetables like sauerkraut and kimchi, kombucha tea, and miso. And prebiotic foods would contain garlic and onions, as well as leeks and asparagus. Jerusalem artichokes are really, really great prebiotics, as well as dandelion greens, bananas, and seaweed. In terms of exercise, regular exercise can really help boost the immune system and help fight off infection. Exercise really allows the immune cells to perform effectively. And it does this by increasing blood flow, reducing stress and inflammation, and really strengthening antibodies. Exercising also detoxifies or detoxes the lymphatic system, and really gives your body the energy to fight off the millions of germs that we are surrounded with every single day. It's important to note that when it comes to exercise, moderation is key. Excessive exercise can really go against your immune system, causing more stress, more inflammation, and we really have to focus on moderation and balance so that we're keeping the immune system healthy, and we don't want to be draining our energy and vitality through excessive exercise. So I provided a few forms of exercise that would be great for boosting the immune system, as well as restorative yoga poses that will help with immune system function. So I really hope this resonated with you guys. If it did, please like, share, comment, and I'll see you next week for our next segment of Wellness Wednesday. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.